hopefully won't fall down. Is it dark here? I might get a, hold on. Maybe that makes it brighter. Seems a little bit brighter. Hello everyone. Anyway, I'm gonna wait for people to come around, and let me know if you're here so I can start the stream, because even though Twitch is meant to show me when there are viewers, it doesn't. It constantly says 0 even when there are people talking in chat. It's very frustrating. So I just end up talking to myself until someone actually makes it clear that they're there. Isn't that always the way though? Talking to myself. It reminds me of my high school days. Okay, so. Oh, Irving Crowford is there. Hello, how are you going? Today, I'm going to be making a chocolate ripple cake. Now, oh god, this is way too low. How can I make this higher? As usual, we have the regular technical difficulties. What if I make this really... Does that make it... No, it doesn't. Okay. No. Alright, well, what was that for? Sorry, we're just, Okay, alright. Put it on a stack of phone books. That's the only reason those still exist. That's probably a good idea. I'm just going to spin this for a bit, so you might get a little bit dizzy, but actually, no, I can't do that. I have to spin this after all. You're going to be looking at the sky for a little bit while I undo the damage that I just did by twisting the stand off the selfie stick. There we go. Hey there, Eric. Surely it's late there. Amazing, you're up this late. Why is this... Sorry, I can't get this above bosom height. I don't like... Should I just do the stream like that? That way you can actually see my head? Do I need to like constantly... It's 6:30 a.m. That is really early. Just go back, you garbage. How do I make it? Sorry, everyone. Bear with... Okay, here we go. All right. Yes, I knew there was a way to get it above bosom height. All right. So, today, I'm going to show you how to make a special Australian cake, which is called a chocolate ripple cake. And it's called that because it's made out of these brand name biscuits, chocolate ripple biscuits, by the company called Arnott's. Hey, Jeff Roth. Hey, Pangoless. It's only 4:30 p.m. there. Huh. What time zone are you in? Oh, New Zealand, maybe? Wait, what time is it here? It's 2:30. So, New Zealand? Japan? I'm very bad. Oh, New Zealand, yes! Okay, I'm clever. I had a partner who was from New Zealand, so I sort of vaguely remember the time zone stuff. Anyway, so this cake has a little bit of history in that, with regards to me, in that it's a pretty Australian cake, given that, you know, these are Australian biscuits, so, yeah, and I kind of took for granted how accessible these biscuits were and this kind of cake was. I know that there are different variations depending on which country you're in, like in the US they've got an ice bucket cake, I think is what they call it, which is made out of more vanilla biscuits or something like that. There's a Filipino variant which uses sponge and mango, which sounds amazing. In Argentina they had one called the chocotorta, which was I want to make that at some point too, actually. It's pretty much the same thing as what I'm going to make now, except instead of chocolate ripple biscuits, it uses an Argentinian biscuit called chocolinas. And instead of whipped cream, which is what I'm going to be whipping up today, it uses dulce de leche, which is like Spanish-style caramel, and it's just incredible. Oh. Basically, it turns out there are a lot of people came up with the idea of putting cream on a biscuit. That's right, yeah. Like it's literally all we're going to be doing here is whipping up some cream. I mean, we will mix it for a little bit of flavoring with vanilla essence, and this is like caster sugar, so we'll put a little bit in there to sweeten up the cream somewhat. But these biscuits are very, very rich chocolate biscuits. So, and they're not coated in like milk chocolate. It's just chocolate flavored biscuits made with cocoa. That's very important. If you want to make this at home, and the reason why there's a history here is because I've tried to make this cake so many times with different biscuits, depending on which country I'm living in at the time. And I feel like I've got it down to an art through a lot of trial and error. In Argentina, I tried using the Chocolina biscuits with whipped cream, but the Chocolina biscuits are not as sweet or as rich as these ones. And so the cake came out kind of a little bit, it tasted more like whipped cream than like cake, if that makes sense. In Taiwan, I used some biscuits which worked, but then I tried using like, I didn't have a whipper, like a mixer, so I tried using like store-bought whipped cream, excuse me, and that did not turn out well. So like through trying a lot of different things, I figured out these are the core ingredients that you need if you want to make a cake that tastes like a chocolate ripple biscuit. You need to have a chocolate biscuit, which, like I said before, does not have a chocolate coating. It's just chocolate, like a chocolate cookie. And the reason for this is that what's going to happen is that the whipped cream is going to absorb into the biscuit, as Osgoth says in the chat. They absorb so much moisture from the cream, it just becomes this delicious, like, rich cake, which is what we want. One of the troubles I've had in other countries finding biscuits like this is that chocolate biscuits often tend to come with chocolate chips in, and the chocolate chips actually don't work so much. You can get away with putting chocolate chip biscuits in things that you bake because the chocolate chips melt and sort of join the consistency of whatever it is that you're making. But with this cake, because it's a no-bake cake, there's no point at which the chocolate chips are going to melt. So you just end up, I mean, I guess if you like cake that has solid chocolate chips in it, maybe that works, but for lack of a better term, the mouthfeel is a little bit off. When you have the texture of a rich, thick cake and whipped cream and then solid chocolate chips. So maybe I'm just being a bit fussy here, but I wouldn't recommend those. If you're in the UK, I actually had some luck ordering, there's like an expat store which is online, and I ordered a whole bunch of chocolate ripple biscuits, and so I brought it for like Christmas last year, back when I was in Liverpool. Oh, those were the days. This is what it'll look like when you open your packet of chocolate ripple biscuits. Let me move it down here. Actually, we don't even need to get the chocolate ripple biscuits right now, because what we're after whipping the cream. All right, let me get our little play area here. Apologies about the echo, by the way. I know this isn't the best sound environment, being a massive middle-class kitchen. Oh yes, another thing I should keep it. Sorry, what's this boob hide again? Another thing I should keep. I should point out is that I am in my parents' kitchen here, so I don't know how to use most of the appliances. Last time I made a cake here, I used the mixer, and I kind of figured out how to use it. However, on the advice of my mother, she's given me this thing, which I believe connects to this thing, and apparently that's going to make it a lot easier to whip the cream. However, I don't know how to use it. I've never used it before in my life, so things could very easily go wrong here. In fact, I don't even know how to put this thing on. Oh, I guess I need to exit. This is actually separate. Is it? Ah, yes, okay, it comes off. So this will be an exploration and a voyage of discovery for all of us. This reminds me of Jen's new video where he talks about how kitchens are usually a bad environment for filming. This kitchen, however, looks pretty good. Oh, really? What are his reasons for that? Like, I could agree with him. Oh, you're gonna make brownies today? Hey there, Jasper. What are you doing here? Hope you're doing well. So this, I'm basically making the cake that I made for our Nopathon last year, Jasper. And I'm normally what you would do. Oh, you can't sleep. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Normally what you would do for like the traditional way to make a chocolate ripple cake, it ends up being something of a weird loaf. I don't know, this image is not very clear. But yeah, it's a loaf. It's a log of biscuits, because the biscuits are round and the easiest way to make them is like that. However, I've made cupcakes when I was in high school. I made cupcakes by putting them in like a muffin cup, and just layering a few flat on top of each other. And what we're going to do here, which is what I tried doing with Jasper for the Nerpathon last year, was they had at their house a cake tin, like a round cake tin. And I thought, well, why don't I try making this cake look like a normal cake? Because the log is sort of awkward. The fact that it always has to be a log, it's not a chocolate ripple log cake, it's a chocolate ripple cake. So I want it to look like a cake. And it's my birthday as well now, tomorrow. So yeah, that worked really good. I feel like in our cake that we made, Jasper, I put a little bit too much cream in. So, but then I was using different biscuits, which aren't as absorbent as these ones, which just like, they just suck up the cream. So hopefully we won't have the same thing that time. Oh, sorry, Ravane Crowford said, he says they're badly lit and cluttered and noisy, but I would say that the worst part of kitchens as studios is how for most people all the appliances are against the wall, so you can't place a camera behind them. Ah, interesting. When we used to make them, we'd put Dutch chocolate sprinkles on the outside. Oh, goody. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to stream tomorrow for my birthday, Eric. I probably will, just by nature of the fact that it's a pandemic and I'm not really going to be able to go out on the town to celebrate my birthday. Yeah, and I'll probably be streaming again tonight as well. In fact, we'll probably do the Desktop Goose stream that I've promised my viewers for reaching all of my sub goals. Another thing that you can do with this cake, something that goes really well with the cream, is Bailey's. The liqueur. And I tried doing that for Christmas last year, and I thought it was incredible. And then I gave some to my housemate Sean, and it turns out he really hates Bailey's, and like he smelled it and was like, no, take it from the room. And I had to take it from the room, and he didn't get to have any cake. But that's okay, because that just meant I ate all of it. I'm not going to complain about that. I like Bailey's a little too much for how much a bottle costs. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, you're going to try and nap some more, Jasper? Okay, I hope you sleep well. Good luck with all that. Oops. Oh, happy birthday to me for tomorrow. Thank you, Alexander Crow. Cancelling Sean for his bad taste. I know, right? I've got a funny story about Bailey's involving my mother, which I'm sure she'll be very happy with me telling everyone. Oh, Eric, thank you so much for the 1,500 bits. Oh, I really appreciate that. Oh, sorry, I should say, I'm just going to get a teaspoon because you need, for one packet of chocolate ripple biscuits, which is 250 grams of cookies, you need 500 grams of cream. These are 600 grams. I couldn't get a 500 gram bottle for some reason, so we're gonna have extra, but I'm gonna make another cake tomorrow to take to my proper house, not my parents' place, where my sibling lives, and we're gonna have an extra party there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, funny story about my mother and Bailey's. I'll just grab a teaspoon. All right, and you need, this feels like when the cream whips, it's gonna be way too big. Don't you reckon? I'm a little concerned. I might pour half of it. I might make 2 batches of whipped cream. I've decided I'll try to make this cake. Yeah, good luck. I mean, tell me what biscuits you end up using. I can't remember which country you're in, Ravane Crowford. But my mission is to basically be able to make a successful chocolate ripple cake with substitutes as necessary, like in as many countries as possible. So I'm just pouring some of the cream into the other bowl and making a huge mess of it. I need to put this down so you can see what I'm doing and not just get a close-up of my chest. Okay, so hopefully that won't get everywhere. There we go. All right, let me, God damn it. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's swap the thing. Wait, is it not swapping? Has that frozen my face? I think that's frozen my face. God damn it. Unfreeze my face. Say you see me again. Okay, there we are again. What an awkward angle. Okay. All right, so we got our cream. Oh, Jesus Christ. There we go. I heard, you know what we can do, and then the stream crashed. All right. Okay, I'm going to put in the correct ingredients, and then I'm going to tell my story about my mother and Bailey's. So look forward to it. I mean, there's no way that I'm hyping it up here. So in both of these, I think I've got two things of around the same proportions, and I'm going to put 1 and a bit teaspoons. It's meant to be 1 teaspoon per 500 grams. I mean 500 mils of vanilla essence, and we've got 2 lots of 600. So, shit, that's a tablespoon. Oh God, I'm doing this all. Okay, this is gonna be like extra sweet. You know what? I'm gonna put half of that in there, and then I'm gonna put half of it in here. Like normally I don't put any vanilla essence at all because I never actually have it in the kitchens where I live. So this is just gonna be a bonus for any cake that I make. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have done the caster sugar first, because now this is all moist. Cav is baking poorly. It's my birthday tomorrow, actually, Secret Gamer Girl. Very, very exciting. I'm going to be 33 years old. So even deeper into my 30s. Sorry, this is a very boring, just looking at the cake here. All right, I think I've dried this. That'll do. That'll do. Okay, so now we've got some caster sugar. It's also meant to be 1 teaspoon per 500 grams of oh, the scrape. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, wait, no, that's still on teaspoons. Okay, let's put it on... Why is that 1.5? Oh, there we go, 1 teaspoon. Okay. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, okay. And that's still a little bit... Okay, that'll do. Okay, so caster sugar. Oh, geez, no, I'm so sorry about that noise. Okay, so in these 2 lots of cream that I've got, I have caster sugar, 1 teaspoon of caster sugar, and a little bit more because we're using 600 grams mils a piece, and about 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. So now we're gonna beat those, beat the shit out of them, and I'm gonna tell you a little story. Won't that be nice? I'll tell you a story about my mother and Bailey's. So, okay, actually, let's just focus. This story is going on forever. It's like, what's it called? The Shaggy Dog story? Ah, nothing's happening. I'm pressing the button. It says there's a lock on. It's like flashing on and off. Oi! I might need to call for assistance here. Why am I so bad at this? Okay. Hold on. I'll call some assistance and I'll be back in a sec. Please just, why don't we move the thing so it's me again? and this. No, wait, no. Okay, it's just up here. All right. Yeah, that's an adjustable spoon measure. I think we got it from like Target or Kmart or, you know, one of those kind of shops. All right. Why don't you just do one lot of cream and divide it after you mix it? Because I'm worried that when I whip it, the volume will just overflow the bowl. Like the bowl, it feels like this cream is gonna raise a lot higher than the volume of the bowl, so that's why I've separated it into two. Check the whisk isn't tight. Ah, okay, let's do that. Seems pretty tight to me. All right, I'll be back. Yeah, put it plugged in. So, cameo from my mother here.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, it's not pressing.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, you need to press the thing at...
Is it plugged in properly?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Power zone.
Yeah.
This is plugged in.
It's
Yes.
okay. What's...
So, I think you press. See, that's when it's on, when
Yeah.
it goes green. And then
Oh, God. Okay, so I need to press the top button first.
to make sure it's green.
Okay.
And then you go.
All right. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, thank you.
Right.
All right. You saw that coming, Eric? Oh, dear. All right, so let's do this, and I'll continue my story. Okay, so we're whipping the cream. Now I'm going to tell you my story while we're whipping. So my mother doesn't drink very, very much. Just a beer occasionally. Doesn't really drink to excess or anything. She came over to our place one time when I was living in Melbourne. And we had some Baileys out. I had a friend over and she brought some Baileys because when we were back in university, we used to love Baileys. And obviously Baileys is a liqueur. You're not really meant to have that large amount of it. But it does taste really, really good for something that is so strong. And so we all offered my mother and my dad some Baileys just before they, well, not my dad because he was driving, but we offered my mother some Baileys. And she was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll have some Baileys. And so I gave her a regular glass. Normally you're meant to give it in like a shot glass or have it on the rocks or something like that. But we didn't really have that sort of sophisticated, you know, cutlery or china, whatever you call it. And so I got her a regular glass. I don't know whether she had drunk Baileys before, but she just poured herself a whole glass full of it, and then she just went glug, 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 glug. Oh, delicious. Okay, thank you, bye. And then just left this full glass of Baileys. She just sculled it down, or chugged it down, as you say outside of Australia, and just left. And it's like about an hour and a half, maybe about an hour's drive from my place to my parents' place, because Australia is very large. And apparently, like, me and my sibling were like worrying about her because she just glugged the whole glass in like a matter of seconds. Apparently she was like talking all the way home, like just chatting endlessly. So since then, me and my sibling refer to like a large shot or like a double or whatever. We call it a mother's shot. So yes, a mother's shot. Oh god, my hand's really sore. I feel like I should have just used that big, the mixer. This felt like it would be more hands-on. Can you hear me, by the way? I feel like it's quite loud, yeah? This is what it looks like. No, she didn't get sick at all. She was just really, really tipsy. I need a mother-sized cowboy shot. So I'm probably gonna celebrate my birthday at my sibling's place with Bailey's, and we're gonna be having a lot of mother's shots then, I imagine. The cream doesn't really seem to be whipping, and it's probably because I'm not pressing the button properly, and that's probably because I'm using my right hand and I'm left-handed. So let me just plop that down and change hands so I'm actually using my good hand and not my shitty hand for conforming with society's demands on me. There we go. So yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm really excited. I mean, obviously nothing's gonna happen, but it's nice to have a special day where people are nice to you. On the other hand, I always avoid my birthday on Facebook. I mean, no, I've removed my birthday from Facebook because I have a lot of social anxiety, and when a lot of people message me at once, I get overwhelmed and I stop responding. It may have happened to you, actually. Sometimes people write to me, but around the same time I've received a whole bunch of messages. And, you know, mainly the ones that I have the most trouble getting back to are the nice ones. Like when people give me a compliment, I kind of freeze up. Not because I don't think that the compliment is true. The problem is that I'm a very, very arrogant person. Oh, you want to whip a bowl of cream with a fork? Oh my god, how long did that take you? But yeah, I'm a very arrogant person, so... Look at it, it's turning! Oh wait, no, it stopped turning. Oh, it's like that thing where the moment, you know, you turn around, it's gone. Yeah, I'm very arrogant, and if someone gives me a compliment, it's like, well, yeah, of course that's true, but, you know, it's gonna seem arrogant of me if I say, yes, you're correct, you know, like, I don't know how to respond to it. I don't want to respond with modesty, because I'm not modest. You know what? Like, I know I'm great. And that's my problem. I've never had, oh, look at that. Look at that. Whee! I've never really had issues with self-esteem. It's always, well, I have had an issue in the sense that it's always been too high. It's not been, you know, unhealthily too high. So we've got the difference here between the whipped cream here and the unwhipped cream there. Yeah, don't tell anyone your birthday. It's just all the messages you get. Hey, nice shirt. I agree. That is why I purchased it. Respond with, I am not a modest person and you made a mistake in complimenting me. I have done that before. I've said, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But the thing is, right, people think that a lot of times when people are overconfident, the assumption is that they're, you know, compensating for something. You know, like they're putting on an act of being overconfident because really they're deeply, deeply insecure. And I can see that. In fact, there have been some people close to me who have been like that, you know, where they sort of performed confidence, and then later on I found out that they were deeply insecure. See plenty of people online who are like that as well. But it's not, the thing is, it's not always the case. And I think that's a problem in itself, the fact that we can't accept that some people are just unnecessarily overconfident. It's not to say it's a good thing, you know, you shouldn't really, like, it doesn't help anyone to be overconfident either. But, like, it is its own thing. It's not always related to insecurity. Sometimes it's related to over-security. Yeah, I think a lot of people perform confidence to a degree online, even if they are confident people offline as well. I tend to prefer online things because I'm more introverted and have social anxiety, which don't really have anything to do with, you know, confidence per se. It's anxiety. I don't perform confidence and am deeply insecure. I have the best of both worlds. Indeed. Okay, look at that. We're whipping along there. This is a very quick cake to make, by the way. It's basically just add the ingredients to the cream, whip the cream, and then spread the cream. How is that? Oh, that's lovely. And okay, so this is the consistency that you want with the whipped cream. Like, it's very, very thick. It doesn't like immediately fall back down. It's not gloopy at all. Nice. Is Cav making a pav? No, I'm making a chocolate ripple cake, which I believe is actually an Australian cake, unlike the pavlova, which I'm pretty sure is in actual fact a New Zealand cake. We just claim it because we're a bigger country and no one's going to, you know, not believe us. I think basically most things that Australians say are like Australian culture that you could argue are something that is mainly eaten or consumed or whatever in Australia are actually New Zealand imports. Pavlova is Kiwi. Yeah, right? It 100% is. I have to make a big point of saying it's Kiwi because, like, I don't know. I think you shouldn't deny being a culture that steals things from other people. That's just rude. I can keep Russell Crowe. No. That's the other thing about Australia. We sort of claim things as they suit us. Like when Russell Crowe was like, oh, he's such a great actor. It was like, yeah, he's Aussie. And then when he started getting into fights and stuff, no, he's actually Kiwi, didn't you know? Sorry, I'm going to lick this, but I'm going to walk away so that way you don't, you know, it doesn't get awkward here. Hold on. I should probably unplug it from the power. It's good cream. Oh wait, no, I'm in here, shit. I didn't walk far away enough. Sorry everyone, no one needed that. Did it again, didn't I? Okay, let's turn this off at the power. I pretended not to see. Oh good, thank you, Oscar. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the sink and hopefully get rid of the rest of the cream. Oh, we have fun together. The thing is, right, the chat was hiding that part of the screen, and so it was hard to estimate how far I had to go in order to get off. I love how that clip is called Witty, Interesting Vanilla You Don't Say, because this is kind of like vanilla. All right, so we got the cream here, and we have a cake tin here, which is a new way that I'm going to do. Well, not new, I did it once in Belgium. So this is one of those trays where by pulling a lever, you can get this cake out without sort of like scraping the sides or anything. Which is what we want because I'd like there to be cream around the sides of the cake too. Australia had a meringue cake with fruit before New Zealand, but it wasn't called a pavlova. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so now I'm gonna change the camera back. Okay, there we go. Lovely look at the wall there. Now camera's gonna be down here in the cake tin. That's bad because it means I can't read the chat. God, that's rubbish. Okay, I guess what that means is I need to move this out of the way, move that up there, and move this over here. I hear it's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. Well, I mean, we're not even baking this time, so it's even easier than baking a cake, if you would believe. So like I say, with this cake, you can mix whatever you want into the cream. You can mix like chocolate pieces, like great pieces of milk chocolate, or you can put some Baileys in there if you want it to be an adult cake. It's a cake that's used a lot for children's parties in Australia. What we're doing here is we are, you know, would it be so much easier if I just, okay, so I'm undoing that clasp, taking off this, and I'm gonna smear the whole bottom. Smear the bottom, that's what we're going to do. Smearing the bottom with cream, which is gonna be the base, and it's gonna keep the biscuits upright. Doesn't really need to be smooth or pretty or anything, because all we're doing is, you know, like no one's gonna even look at this. This is like the butt of the cake that we're creating right now. I feel like this would be easy to do with the back of a spoon. Yeah, well, you're probably right. and yet. Okay. Doopy-doopy-doo. I want to make it sort of like a nice base, enough that the cookies will stick to it. Remember the last cake stream that I did where Diana Jack was giving really good advice? I just wasn't reading it. That was a fun time. I liked making that elephant cake. Cooking streams are fun. I just wish I had a better sound setup, but you know, I think you'd probably want to be like a dedicated cooking streamer before you invested in that kind of equipment for the acoustics. Need a lot of soundproofing and whatnot. The sound is actually pretty good. Oh, that's nice. I imagine it's quite echoey. Maybe it's because I'm sort of standing close to my phone. Spreading the cream on the cake today. You like my song? I call it Spreading the Cream on the Cake, and in brackets, today. God, I have fun with myself, don't I? This is why I'm gonna die alone, everyone. Okay, so now I replace this on here. I pull the switch again and whoa, like magic. Wow. Okay, so now's the moment we've all been waiting for. Actually, no, it's not. I'm gonna spread the sides with cream now as well. It's probably not really worth doing this. Actually, yeah, it's not really worth doing that at all. Actually, no, maybe it is. Let's just do it. We got plenty of cream. What have we to lose? Cream? We've allegedly got 200 mils extra in here, so I don't know about you, but I'm gonna take advantage of that. There we go. Let me just make it clear that I've never made a chocolate ripple cake this way before. This is a new invention. So if it works, I'm gonna be making a patent for it, and then if you want to do it yourself, you have to get written permission from me. Your use of this stream is legally binding. I don't even know why you use that kind of pan with removable sides if you don't bake it, because it keeps the shape. Otherwise, otherwise you end up with that log, the log shape, and no one wants a log shape. Log shapes are for baby chocolate ripple cake makers. Okay, so what we do now is oh wait, no. Before putting the piece down, the moment of truth, we spread it with the cream. And then we spread the other side. The log must be avoided, that's right. Okay, spread both sides, and then we plop it down. I don't know if you can see that. I assume yes. Okay, and then we've already got one side spread there, so we don't want to have too much cream. Although it's really difficult to know the right ratio of cream and biscuit. When I've tried with non-chocolate ripple biscuits, I found that I end up with too much cream. But then I think what happens with chocolate ripple biscuits is because they're so absorbent, I might underestimate how much it absorbs and not put enough cream on. So this will maybe be a test of how much. This is how much I'm putting on, like a nice chunky thing. I have pictured the result of this more like a tiramisu shape. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, obviously, this isn't going to fit perfectly into a circle. We're not going to have the kind of lines that that you'd normally get if you were just making a log. I love that it's a log. Log is a pretty funny word when you think about it. Log. Okay. Yeah, I think this would be much easier to turn into a square or a rectangle shape than a circle, which is one reason why I'm being so ambitious today, because it's my birthday, damn it, tomorrow. Putting more cream on. I do make tiramisu and lasagna in the same container, yes. Does this taste anything like an Oreo? Well, it's interesting you should say that. It tastes like a much richer Oreo. I think the flavor is a little bit richer. I don't know if Osgoth would agree with me or not. But there is a version of this that you can make. I've seen it listed as an American icebox, a chocolate icebox cake with an American recipe, which uses specially bought Oreos that do not come with cream. Like apparently you can buy creamless Oreos that come with icing on the side, and the idea is that you make your own, which seems a little bit weird. Like, I don't know, like I don't really get it. I'm sure there's reasoning behind it and there's a way to enjoy it that way, but yeah, it's a thing apparently in the States. You've never heard of this cake? Well, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, there's a whole bunch of like regional variants. This is the Australian version. I think I might be getting cream on my sleeve. I am. Oh well. But yeah, the US has an icebox cake which uses more vanilla biscuits. Oh, the Oreos, you've never heard. Yeah, it's I found them when I was looking up trying to find substitute ingredients for making one of these cakes. That was when I discovered the existence of the icebox cake. Oh wait, I was traveling somewhere. I think I was in South Korea. And there was I went into a cafe to use the internet, and they had what was called a chocolate icebox cake, or an Oreo icebox cake. And I was like, that looks exactly like a chocolate ripple cake. I must have it. And yeah, then I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's not as unique as I thought it was. Oh, Oreos covered in chocolate are very good. Can't remember when I ate them. They're really good, but they're so bad for you. Gosh. Okay, so that sort of makes up that whole line there. And now, and now the rest of this cake is going to be trying to like approximate the roundness of a cake. So we start again with doing the cream on both sides. I should probably, hold on a second, I'll turn this light off here because it might be going some way and melting the cream by heating it up a little bit. I'm seeing it getting a little bit softer than I'd like it. don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this angle thing that we've got going on. And we're also running out of Oreos. I mean, not Oreos. I keep calling them Oreos now. Got me thinking about them. Running out of chocolate ripple biscuits. We've only got this much left. And we've only got, well, we've got 2 more packets, but we've got limited cream at our disposal here. Maybe this extra cream was a good idea. Doopy-doo. You don't have to do this perfectly. It doesn't need to look nice at this stage even, because you're going to cover it with whipped cream afterwards. So the way that it looks here, even if the line isn't really straight or anything, no one is going to care. Honestly, it will taste so good. In fact, I've had like some of my failed attempts at making chocolate ripple cake with substitute ingredients have resulted in an absolute mess. Like, it looked like garbage, and I took it to like I think it might have been a Thanksgiving party. I went to a Thanksgiving party with like a garbage cake. And everyone was really polite when they saw it. Like, I kept apologizing, saying, "Oh no, it looks really bad, but I promise you it'll taste good." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll taste lovely." And then they had it and they were like, "Oh, this is really good." So it always seems to taste good. It's more, I mean, like, how can you go wrong with cookies and cream, right? Oh, well, we're through this one batch of cookies, which isn't really a good sign, is it? Let me open another packet. Guy Fieri's garbage cake. Just washing my hand, just covered in cream, and opening another. Oh no, my fingers are all slippery with cream. I mean, cream water. Oh, okay, yep, we did it. Ooh, there's a little bit of cookie that fell off. You know what? These cookies, even if you don't have chocolate ripple cake, if you dip them in milk, like cookies in milk, because they're so absorbent, oh, they are so good, and they're so rich as well. So when you dip them in milk, they don't lose much of the richness. They're just a super cookie. They're super. It's really a shame they don't exist anywhere else. Yeah, so my tips, I'm going to write an article. I've actually written like 75% of a travel article about this on my travel site, which I really need to update sometime soon. Yeah, so you should whip the cream yourself to make sure that it's sufficiently hard. Like stiff. You need stiff cream, stiff whipped cream to help the cookies stand. Otherwise they fall over like my first Belgian attempt. And you should aim for cookies that are just plain chocolate without chocolate chips, to make sure the texture and mouthfeel is good. Peaceful day, making my own birthday cake. I think last time I made one of these was Christmas in Liverpool with my special Bailey's edition. Oh dear, oh dear, oh. Okay, we're really struggling to get these cookies in there. Okay, I might try 1/2 cookie here. This is probably not going to turn out as perfect as the one that I did for the Nopathon. Oh, whoops, I should put cream on the other side of that one. Probably when I put cream over the top, it'll smooth out the shape a little bit. But then it's like half on that side and then a whole one on that side. That's weird. That's weird, Cav. What are you doing? Maybe I'll just like make it symmetrical and put a whole one there and then like a half one there. Let's do that. Where would the Baileys be added? The Baileys would be added into the whipped cream. So, at least in the UK, you can get cream, like whipping cream for whipping, thickened cream, which has already got Baileys infused in it. And then you would just whip that like you would regular cream. But if you have Baileys, of course, you just add an amount. I don't know what amount. I couldn't recommend you any amount without, I don't know, potentially getting you in trouble. Yeah, you put that into the cream and then give it a nice whipping. I feel like Belgium is one of those countries whose food and baked goods are overlooked. Oh, definitely. God, Belgian bread is so good. Mmm. One of the things, like, I don't miss too much about Belgian food, but one of the things I do miss is the bread. Oh, so good. And at least in Brussels, there was amazing Lebanese food as well, but, you know, that's Belgian Lebanese food. I don't know if Lebanese food, I assume that Lebanese food in Lebanon is a lot nicer. What if you dip the cookies in the Baileys though and let them soak a little bit without going mushy? You'd have to be really quick, but I'm intrigued. I mean, the thing is, with the chocolate ripple cake, the Baileys soaks through anyway, because the cream soaks into the cookies. So I guess it wouldn't really matter which order you do it in. I don't think that like pre-soaking the cookies in Baileys would make that much of a difference, unless you weren't going to put Baileys in the cream. Oh, whoops, I keep putting the cream on the wrong side. I mean, there is no right side to put it on, but just with my own sort of anxiety tics. Oh shit, wrong side again. All right, so we're about done with one bowl of cream, which means we'll be on to the next one. And I feel like I might have to bring another lot of biscuits out. This is a very popular birthday cake, as I said, for Australian kids, especially because the kids can make them themselves. Ooh, this cream is much thicker than the other one. Why did I use that tone of voice? Cream is so much thicker now. Turn into Jeff Goldblum briefly. Oh, I need to watch Jurassic Park again. It's one of my go-to movies. There's also an amazing, I don't know if any of you watch Riff Tracks, which are by the people who do Mystery Science Theater 3000. Bill Corbett, Kevin Murphy, and Mike Nelson, and occasionally some special guests, and they just do joke commentary over a movie. In the Jurassic Park Riff Tracks, Weird Al Yankovic is doing it with Mike Nelson, and it's very funny. I guess the jokes have aged a little bit, but for the most part, still very, very good. Now my hands are getting all creamy. And I don't think I put enough cream in between these two pieces. You basically want like a slather between each of the cookies. You want it to be like thick enough that they are kept separate, because when the cream soaks in, they're going to basically melt into each other. If you have too little cream, then you won't end up with the nice attractive white lines between the brown cookies. So it will still taste good regardless, but if you're going for like an attractive sort of aesthetic, then maybe put a little bit more cream in than you'd think would be healthy. I still feel like this isn't enough cream between the cookies. There we go. It's a bit better. Hope you're all enjoying this. Is this like I'm curious watching this. This is just a repetitive motion that I've been doing for the past, I guess, 20 minutes or so. What is the reaction that you have? Is it calming? The appeal in watching, is it the conversation? It's calming? Oh, good, good. Yeah, I kind of feel that way sometimes watching people play repetitive video games. Like they're just doing the same thing over and over, but you get a sense of predictability, which can be quite good. All right, so for these last little bits around the side, I'm going to need to crack open another box of cookies. So I'll be back. Just in time to see the magic happen? Yes, look how attractive it is, trying to fit a chocolate ripple cake into a round pan. Something to listen to while you make dinner? Is your dinner a cake? You're reading Twitter? Oh, nice. God, Twitter leftism lately has been a bit of a cesspit, hasn't it? I don't normally like to talk too much about politics in my streams, but Jesus Christ. Okay. Like, it's just been very white. It's stuff that I think is just due to naivety rather than, you know, malice or anything, but it's still really frustrating to see, you know what I mean? Maybe these should all be half cookies. Let's make these half cookies. Gonna break a bunch of cookies in half. Did you know Twitter allows you to mute up to 200 words and phrases, and that should definitely include leftist? I muted coronavirus for a while because there was too much misinformation floating around. And I found that in terms of people tweeting about how they were affected by it, they'd normally just say the pandemic, or they would, or they'd just talk about their situation. Oh, I've been cooped up here for ages. So you could still get all like the human stories without getting all the, you know, people sort of unnecessarily panicking and, you know, spreading misinformation. Okay, let's see how this goes. This cake really doesn't look very attractive right now, does it? It will once I've covered the whole thing. Trust me. Do you like how I'm daintily like keeping one finger in the air and it, like the tip of it's covered in cream? I don't have words on Twitter muted because I hate myself and love pain. Oh. I have a few people's names muted because like they're like common topics of drama, and like I hate drama. So like if they're people who attract drama, I just like, you know, mute their names so that way I never have to like know what unwoke thing they've done today or whatever. Not that a lot of the complaints and things aren't valid, but just I feel like, you know, when you get 200 people having the same take about the one stupid thing that they did, it's just like, oh. I know, I get it. They're silly. I understand that they're silly. Can we just like not idolize people? uh, or use people as troll things. I know there are a bunch of people who get hate followed a lot, who are, you know, shitty people. But it's like, I don't care what they did this time. We've established they're a shitty person. That's just me. I don't think people aren't entitled to that if that's what they want, but just personally, I don't really have the time for it. There is an actual cake part coming up. Unfortunately, you won't get to see the results on stream. I'll tweet them out later. But what's going to happen is this is going to go in the fridge overnight after I've done it. And then the cream is going to slowly melt through or like get absorbed into the biscuits, and it will, the biscuit will just inflate and turn into like this really thick, rich, cakey texture. There we go. Slowly getting there. Then we'll get up to the bit where we make it look like a cake. Yeah, we're definitely not baking this cake. This is not a cake to bake. I bent off a tiny little crumb. So I smeared that back into the cream. I'm a professional cake maker, didn't you know? I'm not even sure that I would call this like a sponge, because the texture is too dense, I think. It's a very dense cake, and I always think of sponge as being quite light. Okay, let's move this around. Yeah, I always say like mute often. If there's anything that bores you, just get rid of it. Like there's a lot of Animal Crossing stuff going out at the moment, which is great. It seems like a really fun game, but I don't play it, so I don't really get any of the references that people are doing. It's not something that I've muted yet, but it probably, the longer it keeps up, the more I'll be like, you know, it's not really something I understand. Okay. You love seeing all the art from it. Yeah, that has been good. That's probably why I haven't muted it yet. You get a lot of really cute fan art. I don't really understand how there are like NPCs that can come and go from your village or island or something. That must be really sad. I would hate that. Like if anyone left my island, I would feel like it was an indictment on me. Like what did I do to upset you that made you leave the island? I'm a real softie that way. Yeah, I've definitely muted a few politicians' names. And sports stuff is really boring for me as well. Actively disinterested. Yeek. You can make them stay by telling them you would love it if they stay, basically. Really? So you could tell everyone? Or do some of them have like rivalries and not like each other? Or is there a thing there? Because I imagine that's sort of why they would leave in the first place, because their needs aren't being met in terms, you know, like civilization style. I don't like that you're friends with the Chinese or whatever. And what if I don't want someone to come to my island in the first place, but then I feel awkward about, you know, I don't want to make things unpleasant for them. I just didn't really want them there. It's just too much social stuff involved there. It makes me nervous. Slowly getting there. Oh, why has it... Oh, I thought my camera unfocused. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, that one's a bit of a tight squeeze. And the final piece of the cakey puzzle. Oh, hey there, Denny Von Doom. Denny Von Doom. Oh my goodness. How's it going? We're making an Australian cake. Now, granted, it doesn't look very attractive now, but no matter what it ends up looking like, it's going to taste delicious. This is an Australian chocolate ripple cake, which is similar to an American icebox cake, if you've ever had one of those before, where it's basically just chocolate cookies, which are smothered in whipped cream and then put in the fridge overnight. This is just regular whipped cream, but I've put in some caster sugar and vanilla extract. So if that's chantilly cream, then yes. Yeah, so in the fridge it softens up and the cream gets absorbed into the cookie and converts it, well, turns it somewhat into a very rich cake-like texture. And I've had multiple experiences trying to substitute other cookies and other ingredients, such as like pre-whipped cream and all that, when I've been living overseas. And I've had varying levels of success with that, but I think ultimately these biscuits are the best choice because they're just ultra absorbent. Oh, you've seen something similar on Food Network? Oh, interesting. Was it called an icebox cake, or did it have a different name? Because I know there are a bunch of different cultural regional variations of it in like East Asia, and I think the Netherlands has a version of it as well, which does not use cookies, but oh wait, it uses a kind of cookie, I think. Icebox cake, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the American variant, as I understand it. So it's slowly starting to look a little bit more like something that resembles a cake. So I'll show you the box again. I mean the packet of biscuits that we've been using. My fingers are covered in cream and now there's cream all over the wrapper. So this is like Arnott's chocolate ripple cake biscuits. Arnott's is, I think it was originally New Zealand, like everything else that Australia claims. It was a New Zealand company. I think it's been sold to either the UK or the US, so you may have more luck finding them now. But there was definitely a time when it was quite difficult to come by these biscuits outside of Australia or New Zealand. You still vote using a spoon for it? In the US, we usually put instant custard in. Oh, that's interesting. And I think it's more like, it tends to be more vanilla biscuits as well, if I'm not mistaken, for the icebox cake. You're probably right about the back of the spoon, Vane Crowford. I might take you up on that in the next 15 minutes. No, this recipe does not skimp on the ice, the cream. And that is because it, like I say, it absorbs into the cookie. And this cookie is very, very absorbent. So the cookie will expand to deal with the extra cream. And if you want to have it look very attractive when you cut it, so that there's like the cream and then cookie, cream, cookie, as opposed to all the cookies like mushed together, then it's better to err on the side of splurging more cream. Yeah, you might be right about this spoon thing. Maybe you're right, maybe. Still thinking. Arnott's was bought by Campbell's Soup in the 90s, and then some massive US investment firm gobbled them up in 2019. Well, hopefully that's good news for the US in terms of their access to these cookies, unless they just gobbled it up so that they could take in Australian profits, which is also feasible. You prefer spreading your pizza sauce with a fork? I wonder why that is. I'm picturing Cav spreading tomato sauce and pizza with a knife now. I have done that before, actually. How dare you? How dare you? I feel so I feel so called out right now. So I'm just trying to cover it now so that there are no more brown bits on there. So it's a sort of even spread. Might be a little bit difficult to do. It looks really ugly in the, like, I'm just looking at the stream video. It looks really ugly. That's okay. That's okay. I know it'll taste good, so I'm happy with my with what I've achieved here. Does the cake go in the oven? No, it goes in the fridge. This is a no-bake cake. No baking whatsoever. That's one reason why it's so popular for birthday parties. Popular birthday parties for kids in Australia, because it's just really, really simple. If you want, you can, mix things up, add things to it, grate some milk chocolate over the top, grate some mint chocolate over the top to give it a slightly minty flavor, maybe for Christmas or something. You could, like I said before, add Baileys to the whipped cream. What else could you do? The possibilities are endless. Sprinkle some bacon on it, I don't know. Don't know how you like your cakes. And the thing to keep in mind is that these particular biscuits are incredibly rich. I've tried making the same cake with different biscuits which weren't as rich, and I need to either put more sugar in or less cream, because it does get very creamy, sort of to the point of sickness, if the cookies aren't as absorbent, I think. That's been the hard lesson that I've learned anyway. As the bowl empties, the amount of cream Cav gets with a knife grows smaller and smaller, making the process longer and longer. It's true. Oh my god, you're so right. And yet here I am, I'm still doing it. It's now the principle of the thing though. Like I started and I've made it this far. And I'm just doing the finishing touches now. Just covering up the last of the brown, making sure the top is smooth. How's life in Australia? It's been all right. Yesterday I went down to the countryside to see my best friend from primary school, who I haven't seen. Like I thought I hadn't seen her since before I left for Belgium in 2018, but it turns out I haven't seen her since before I went to Argentina in 2013. So a lot has happened since then. She's changed careers. She's moved into a house. She has 2 dogs, 2 gorgeous fluffy dogs. And seems really, really happy, so I'm glad. But it's funny because she's still exactly the same person as the person who I knew in primary school. It's so weird, like so many people that I know have changed quite a lot as I've gotten older. But she's like, she never changes. And that's great because she's, sorry. She's just a lovely, fun-loving person. That's basically the cake there. I'm gonna grab a paper towel and just go around the edge to neaten it up a tiny little bit. Tiny little bit? Tiny little bit. Oh, there goes the phone. Not gonna answer that. When the restrictions lift a bit, you gotta come see my new house. Oh, I'd love to. Yes, definitely. Let's do it. Yeah, it's really frustrating coming down here and it's like, I gotta catch up with all the folks. And then all the lockdown happened. So I've caught up with a total of, I think, as of yesterday, 3 people. Despite being away from here, like I've been away from Australia for about 1.5 years. And I haven't caught up with anyone. I mean, like, I'm not going to circumvent lockdown just because I'm grumpy about that, but yeah. Oh no, that wasn't my phone on airplane mode. That was the home phone. When the restrictions lift, I have to go see my friend's new place. It shall be exciting. Yeah, imagine having to move during the pandemic or just before. It'd be very, very stressful. Okay, so there's the cake. And what we do is I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap. And then pop it in the fridge. Unless I can maybe grate some... You know what? I might grate one of... There we go. I might grate one of these on top of it. I've not kept up with so many people from my hometown. I mean, honestly, I've only kept up with one person who is that person from my hometown, but then I move around a lot and I tend to sort of get very close with one person and make a lot of friends, like sort of like more acquaintance type friends with other people. So I'm just gonna move it back to me. Yay, hello. Yeah, it's really difficult, especially the more that you travel or the more that you move. It can be very difficult to keep those connections open. I think that Facebook and social media has made it a lot easier now, but that's not to say it's technically easier to keep in touch with people, but because of that, you make more connections, and then it's difficult to juggle those. So I think it's sort of like a tough balancing act. I'll just grab a grater. We're all going to Japan! Oh, we were all going to Japan as their last holiday before the reality of a principal and interest mortgage hit. Then COVID happened and they're not going to be vacationing at all. Yay! Oh no, that's awful. Is there ice cream on the lens? No, my lens is actually broken. I dropped my phone a while ago, and it's always been like that, but just most of the time it's not apparent unless the light is in a particular direction. It's weird. Facebook scares me and I really dislike my time on it. Yeah, I don't use Facebook at all. The only thing that I use it for is like when I publish a new video, just to get a few more clicks, I'll publish something there. And then I'll use Messenger to contact people when I'm traveling to their country to ask if they want to meet up. Like I use it like an address book. And I found that that's decent. Like, I haven't had too many issues with that, except for the fact that one time I did look down my timeline, and it turns out one of my friends from high school had gotten married and had a kid who was now 1 year old, and I don't remember any of that happening. So it's like they were celebrating the first birthday and everyone's saying, "Oh, happy birthday." I was like, "Oh, happy birth as well." Okay, I'm just, oh, that looks quite attractive actually. Let's let me put it back. There we go. So I'm using it on that setting. Doesn't that look nice? So just a light coating for a garnish. I think that'll do us. Nice. Look at that. We got a little chocolate cakey. Nice. Every time you scroll through your Facebook feed, you age by an extra 10 years. Oh, thank you, Punter75. My birthday is tomorrow, and I'm very excited to be another year older. I'm gonna grab some plastic wrap. Okay, got some plastic wrap here. Look, we've got this little thing, so I can like rip it like that. Isn't that clever? Ah, to be middle class. All the stuff you don't actually need, but it makes things slightly more convenient, so you figure, why not? I can afford it. Okay. And I took off a little bit too much there. Oops. Rest in peace, environment. Chat has already provided Cav with the best birthday present, forcing them to play Subnautica in VR. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, chat. Oh, I'm so nervous about that. I told Sean and he just burst out laughing. He can't wait. It's like his birthday happened. Okay, so we're gonna put this lovely cake in the fridge, and I'll post up a photo on Twitter when it's all done. Maybe even make a video of the unveiling. Cav gifted us with an hour of yodeling to celebrate. Oh dear. Okay, in the fridge. Oops. Back to me. Wait. Don't force yourself if it gets too horrible, Cav. Well, I've decided, like, when I say Subnautica in VR, I'm not going to play the whole game in VR, but I am going to dedicate myself to an entire stream's worth of Subnautica VR. And I'm sort of curious to see how long it will take before I break down and cry. Probably not that long. I wonder what to do with this extra cream I've got. I've got like the little dregs of 2 bowls of cream. I suppose I could, I mean, given that we got all these leftover cookies and all, just have a sample of what's to come. Give yourself the out of motion sickness though. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll definitely do that. Oh. Not the boy. Please, some coffee? I don't really like coffee that much. But that's a good idea. Like, with milk, it's very good. Oh yeah, I would not have put Subnautica VR as a goal if I wasn't prepared to go through with it. What advice would I give from starting on Twitch? Well, I gave some advice on my Twitter the other day. I'm gonna grab a glass of water. Which is that I think if you're really interested in streaming per se, you'd need to think about your reasons for streaming, because if you want to do it regularly, if you just have an odd stream here and there, then that's another thing altogether. Like, just go ahead, do it. Why not? It's fun. But if you want to do some more like regular content and hope to gain an audience and perhaps some income that way, you need to make sure that the act of streaming in itself is something that you enjoy, because it's very tiring. Not in a bad way necessarily. Like, it is tiring. If you enjoy doing it and it's tiring, then that's great. Like, I think a lot of people who like to draw or to write stories, that's tiring as well, but they get something out of it, so that's something that allows them to keep going. I'd say it's the same thing with streaming as well. I mean, playing video games is really fun. Playing video games with an audience is different to just playing video games like by yourself, because you have people watching you. Sometimes, I mean, I get away with it because I make no pretense of the fact that I'm not very good at video games, and so so it doesn't really, like, I don't really get comments of people saying that I'm bad at video games, because, I mean, duh. But some people feel self-conscious about messing up a lot when they're playing games, and if people point that out, then that can, you know, put them off playing it or streaming further, or it can provide this sort of exhaustion that is not pleasant to deal with. Yeah, it's like social energy always being on. You're definitely always on when you're streaming, and I mean, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy interacting with an audience, especially as someone who's got social anxiety. I feel like this is a really nice way for me to do all my socializing. Well, not all my socializing, but, you know, to engage in a social activity and get what I need from socializing without having to, you know, go to a party or something like that. It's very much under my control. I can end the stream whenever I want. I can start a stream whenever I want. It's completely up to me. So I've gotten a lot out of streaming, and it's been fun to watch the community grow, and especially with my Discord as well. It's been a good way to get people, you know, talking with each other and getting to know each other. So it becomes more than just people coming to watch me as a streamer, but people are interacting as a community and looking after each other. Like, you know, sometimes if someone's having a bad day or something, they can talk about it in the Discord, and then all the other people who tune into the streams will sort of commiserate or, you know, post pictures of puppies and things like that. So that's another reason why you'd want to do a stream, but like become a more regular streamer. I don't think everyone needs to care about the community, but I think it definitely helps if you have return investment in the community that you're fostering, including things like moderation to make sure that everyone's having a safe time. Like, there's responsibility there as well. And it's difficult sometimes to come up with that balance as your audience gets bigger. But I think what you can do is just your best and try to make the best judgment you can at the time, and just try to ensure that as many people as possible are having fun. I hope that answers your question there. I got a little bit off topic talking about community, but yeah, that's basically it. Just enjoy what you do, or try it. See if you enjoy what you do, and if you don't want to, like, if you don't enjoy it, then you can always just stop. There's nothing stopping you from trying, but it's important, I think, to make sure that you're doing streaming for a reason that is beneficial to you, and your mental health as well. Yeah. And yeah, also the concept of, it's not something that I've had to deal with so much, but I know a lot of people who are streamers or other online personalities have to deal with parasocial relationships, which is where people sort of feel a lot closer to you than they actually are, because of the fact that, you know, you're technically talking to them, and then might sort of request things of you or make demands of you or say things about you, you know, personal comments, personal remarks that make you feel uncomfortable. That's something that happens to a lot of people. So it's not something I've necessarily had to navigate so much myself, thank goodness. I think my audience tend to be a little bit more mature, but I've seen it happening to other people. I have no idea how they deal with that. Like, that would probably be something that would put me off streaming. Um, if anything, it would just be people being like, "Hey, I know you." um, yeah, but that's basically it. Did that answer your question? I don't get asked that very much because I'm more of a. I mean, I've only kind of recently started to get a a significant regular audience. So, and I've only been streaming for about a year, so it's all still pretty new to me as well. But I guess that makes me accessible. Hey. Thank you, Cav. I now have reservations about trying to stream, which is probably a good thing. I mean, if it's about the parasocial stuff, again, it's not something that I've dealt with so much. Like, there have been one or two incidents where I've had to tell people to, like, sort of back off a little bit. And that's always hard to do because I know that a lot of times when people engage in parasocial relationships, they don't do it out of malice. They do it because they genuinely, there is some reason, like either they genuinely don't understand boundaries, or there is something, you as a personality are fulfilling a need for them, and they sort of want to continue that in a way that ends up crossing your boundaries. But yeah, it's just something that I guess needs to happen sometimes. Like, you do need to set those boundaries when they're crossed at an early stage, I think, to stop things from escalating, especially because people honestly, like, genuinely don't tend to understand that they're doing it or that they're making you uncomfortable until you point it out. It's a social energy thing too. Yeah, I mean, I would say try it, honestly. Oh, I'm glad that was good for you, Mr. Sully88. Yeah, if it helps you, like, I'm someone who's very introverted and has to recover a lot after going out to, like, in-person social events, and I don't really consider streaming to be in the same category of that in terms of the energy. But I think, yeah, you do need to interact with the. Oh no, you don't. I've seen plenty of streamers that don't, and they do fine or have an audience or whatever. But at least the type of streams that I imagine is entertaining does involve a little bit of a back and forth and us, joking with each other and all that. So that does require energy, I suppose, if we're keeping it real here. Yeah, so streaming, it's fun. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's gotten to the point where, like, I started out just streaming video games, but now I'm streaming drawing and reading comics and cooking, as you've just seen. So it's something that I enjoy enough that I'm sort of taking to other interests of mine and continuing to enjoy it. And I'll probably do it as long as I continue enjoying it as well. So that's all you can really do. Like, just when it gets too tough, just stop. Oh yeah. Like, even when I'm feeling exhausted, I still often, like, I think you've probably tuned into a few streams where, like, after I did all that translation work, I was really, really exhausted. And I ended up taking a 2-day break at some point. But during that time, I was still streaming almost every day. And I was just doing a game that, for me, doesn't take much brain energy. Because for me, that was a way to relax. Doing the stream itself was relaxing for me. And, it was nice because when you're working really hard on a big project, you don't really get that much time to socialize with other people. So the streaming was kind of like time I set aside for myself to be able to keep going with the translation work. So it was beneficial. And the only reason why I took the break was because I was physically exhausted. It wasn't because I was like, oh God, I have to stream tomorrow and I hate it, It was just because I felt like I don't really have the same energy that would sort of, it would get to the point where it would become draining if I just kept going without a break. So I just took a 2-day break and came back chipper as usual. And yesterday I took a break as well. Like I went to go to visit my friend in the countryside, and I did, excuse me, I preemptively canceled the stream because I thought maybe I'd stay for dinner as well. I wasn't really sure where the day would lead us, but in the end I arrived back before my regular streaming time, and I could have gone on to stream, but I didn't because I had driven like a total of 3 hours and just gotten back, so I was exhausted. Yeah, no problem, Mr. Solly 88. I'm glad that it was useful for you. I suppose another thing would be to watch out for is avoiding making this feel like an obligation. That's exactly right. Like, I would never. I have seen people sort of feel obliged to do stuff, and it doesn't seem like a nice way to be. And I've always been the kind of person, no matter what job I'm doing, I want to enjoy it, and I have the relative privilege that I can almost always do that. Like, I've done a few jobs in Japan that I really enjoyed, like working in international relations and helping exchange students at a university, things like that. A variety of different jobs, but the key thing for me is I want to enjoy it, and if I'm not enjoying it for an extensive period of time, then that's time for me to find something else. And again, I'm in a position of privilege where I can do that. There are plenty of people who are stuck in jobs that they hate, but streaming's no different for me. Like, I don't see myself doing it if it's a drag. Like it's, you know, at the moment I'm making a little bit of money from it, which is fantastic. But like that's not worth my mental health, you know. I think everyone could agree with that. And also like the amount of work that you put in compared with the money that you make, because of, especially as an affiliate, Twitch takes a lot of the income that you make. So that's something to keep in mind too. Like the crawl to getting to a point where streaming alone is sustainable seems like a very long way. So it's, you probably I think they take yeah, it is an awful lot. They make less, they take less when you're a partner, but the road to become a partner is, as you've seen, like quite long. An average audience of 75 people. Yeah, it's, I'm not going to say it's completely unreasonable, but it's a huge barrier for a lot of people who might even be sort of lingering under an average of like 50, 65. That's an awful lot of people, but it's not 75. So yeah, it's tough. So if you're thinking about doing streaming for the purpose of making it your sole income, that's something to take into account too. Like, it's difficult. Like, I personally feel like if you're doing Twitch, it should be for fun first and foremost, and then see how it grows. Maybe in the end it will end up making you some money, but that's sort of like a bonus. And at least for me, because again, I'm in a position of privilege where this isn't my only income. I'm a translator. I can spend basically all the money that I make from Twitch goes back into Twitch. Like, it goes into buying video games to play. It goes into paying, you know, commissioning artists to, you know, to help me make emotes and stuff. Like, all the emotes that you see, were, even though I draw myself, I was really anxious about drawing my own emotes, so I commissioned Diana Jack to make them. Partners get the same split, but the top 1% can negotiate or be approached for long-term contracts. Oh, is that so? I thought that there was... Oh, okay, well, I've been given some wrong information there. That's a little bit annoying. Oh, I think it's like if you get over 500 subs or something, that happens. Mean John was saying something about that, and I'm not sure if maybe that's not happening anymore, but I know with his previous account that's what he was sort of like working towards, so that he could be a little bit more relaxed about that. Yeah, this isn't really a moneymaker for the work that you put in. Like, at the moment I'm streaming pretty much every day for like at least 3 hours a day, and you know, you would expect that for 3 hours of work a day, every day, you'd make, you know, several $1,000s, right? If you were working sort of like a medium wage job, or, you know, a livable wage, shall we say. But yeah, maybe it's a good idea to advertise your Patreon more often. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Oh, good night, Carbuncle. I hope you sleep well. They were playing around with cheers behind the scenes. Oh, the bastards. What was that? Oh yeah, like honestly, my Patreon is what I want to grow most at the moment. Sean tells me that I'm a very good streamer and that I should sort of work on building that more, and I would like to do that, but like Patreon means a lot more to me because that to me Patreon covers everything. Like it covers Twitch. Some of my Patreon money goes into Twitch stuff as well sometimes. And Patreon also goes 100% back into my projects too. Like I don't look at it as income as I do investment in my work, which I'm going to put immediately back into my work. It's helped me a lot, actually, the stuff, what I've made so far on Patreon and Twitch. But again, it's not really a livable wage, and I think it would take a while for it to get to that point. For my birthday, if you really want to treat me to become a patron, that would be awesome. You can also always hand out VIP badges for Patreon supporters if you want to provide a material link to Twitch. That's a really interesting point. This has gone from a cake stream to talking shop. I hope that's okay. The VOD's going to be really weird, isn't it? It's going to be like an hour of cake and then 2 hours of talking meta conversation about the act of streaming. I hope it's useful anyway. Maybe I'll make a highlight of it so that people can use it for a general, like, frequently asked questions. How do I get into streaming? You would be surprised, but over 60% of Twitch folks are streaming with less than 2 viewers or 0 on average, so the top 5% isn't as exclusive as it sounds in comparison. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe you should have a stream overlay with your Patreon info. Yeah, I should sort of start looking more into that, I think, as the account's growing, yeah. It does effectively bar you from using the VIP function for other things, which is sad, but like, most of my regular audience tend to be subscribers anyway, and so don't they just get the same benefits as VIPs? Or I still haven't really gotten my head around some of these functions, like the VIP thing. I wanted to make, for example, for the Age of Empires battles, I really want to somehow involve polls so that people can get something if they correctly bet on the, you know, who's going to win, like something temporarily good happens to them. But the downside of that is that all the extensions I found involve like betting money or bits, and it's like, I don't want that. I want people to be able to have fun in the streams, and I want bits to be an entirely optional way to enjoy streams, if you know what I mean. Again, because I don't need any income outside of what's going back into the games. So I pretty much just want these streams to be fun. Turn your stream into salty bet. VIP benefits are very specific and don't have anything to do with sub benefits. Oh, VIPs can post links in channels that block links, which this one doesn't, and aren't affected by stuff like sub-only chat or slow mode, which is channel is different. Yeah, that was it. I knew there was something that was kind of like, well, VIP is like an icon in this channel, but I don't see any other benefit there. Can the VIP badge be customized? That might be a good idea. I wonder. Let's look into that, shall we? Hey there, good morning. Hey there, Dynajack. The cake making is going well. This is the remnants of the cake. I'll show you, if you don't mind looking into my parents' fridge. That's what we've got there. So it's covered in plastic. It's wrapped in plastic. Sorry. Oh my god. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, you know. It's not good form. But yeah, it's basically just cookies. I'll show you the cookies. Wait, no, that bag is full. These are the cookies that I used. That was an evil sounding laugh. I'm so sorry. These are the cookies I used. Chocolate Ripple biscuits, which are Australian biscuits, but you might be able to order them online, and you can also substitute them with any other like absorbent chocolate cookie. Why does this keep turning that way? That's annoying. Okay, here we go. Stop it! Turn around. I hate this. I want to eat cake in the middle of the night now. Oh, I might do actually, because it'll be my birthday. I can eat cake if I want to. Yeah, so it's just cookies, and you get whipped cream. You whip the cream yourself. A store-bought whipped cream tends to be not stiff enough for keeping the biscuits upright. So just mix it, like spread them like a sandwich of whipped cream and make it into like a cake shape. So then put it in the fridge overnight. It's important to have it. You haven't had chocolate Ripple biscuits before? Oh, they're so good. Like even just dunked in milk. Oh, they're lovely. This is what they look like. So no chocolate chips, no chocolate coating, just plain chocolate biscuits. These ones are quite rich. So if you have cookies which aren't as rich, it's better to add a little bit more sugar than you normally would. Yeah, it's like tiramisu, but Australian. Yeah, you can mix the cream with Baileys. You can grate mint chocolate over the top for a slightly different flavor. Lots of different variations on this cake, but the important thing is to make sure it's in the fridge overnight. Otherwise, if you take it out, I used to think that you could just leave it for a few hours and it'll be fine, but it doesn't turn into cake by then. I've had incidents where I like made it for a party, then took it out like 3 hours later, and we ate it, and it was kind of, yeah, it's all right, I guess. And then I put the leftovers in the fridge, and then the next day it was just like, divine. I almost exclusively have digestive biscuits because I am an old soul. You could probably make not a chocolate Ripple cake, but an icebox cake, like what Denny was talking about before, using that. Like if you mix those digestive biscuits with custard, that would probably be a good combination. Like slather like custard in between it. Nom, 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 nom. You can put all sorts of extracts and stuff with the cream, whatever you want, really. Completely versatile. You can put like hundreds and thousands in there. Wait, do you have sprinkles? Sprinkles. We call them hundreds and thousands in Australia. You can put coloring in there. You can put different kinds of alcohol in there. I think Bailey's probably tastes best because it's cream. Maybe Kahlua, you could put Kahlua in there, but then you may as well just make tiramisu, I think. Yeah. So the conversation's kind of come full circle, hasn't it? We started out making cake, and then we had a big heart-to-heart about sprinkling dime on top. Oh, that would be nice, like some yummy like toffee. Yeah, toffee would be quite good with this kind of a cake. But yeah, we went from making cake to talking shop about the act of streaming. And one other tip about streaming. Well, one thing that makes streaming fun is rating people. I've realized rating people is so much fun. It makes people really happy when you raid them. And so that's why I tend to like picking people with smaller audiences, because for one thing, it lets people know about them. There are plenty, like what Denny was saying, there's so many streamers out there who they stream content because they enjoy doing it, but then they just don't have an audience for it. And that's kind of sad. I find especially, I've noticed, particularly with people of color streamers, it can be much harder for them to really foster a regular audience, and that's really sad to me. Especially like I've seen a lot of you might be aware I'm part of the Cookout, which is a organization, a group of people of color streamers, which Denny Von Doom is actually a founder of. And I will go onto people's streams occasionally if I've got some work on or something, and there's some incredible talent on there. They're really energetic. They interact really well with the audience. They're expressive. They're basically everything you'd want in a streamer, but they've got maybe 5 people watching them, and it just seems like such a waste. So yeah, if you're going to do streaming, take advantage of raiding, because not only, I mean, I guess it does benefit you back in the end, because they might start raiding you too, or following you, or you can make some good connections. Like now I've raided Justice Kazi, another translator streamer, a few times, and now we're going to be doing a charity event together next month with me streaming Resident Evil, which I've never played before, which I'm also worried about. But yeah, you can make a lot of really good connections and some decent friendships out of it. But I think what's more important is to, put eyes on. Yeah, growing an organic audience is really, really hard. So it really helps, especially if you get something of a following or an audience, to just direct that audience onto people who to be, well, in most cases, you would know to be like, good streamers, and just get some more eyes on them. I think it's so important. I think, yeah, Resident Evil. It's gonna be something. I think. Let's see how far I get into it. I'm so jumpy. Like I screamed once during this cake making stream. So that should give you an idea of how that stream is gonna go. Oh god! Oh, I screamed twice, didn't I? Yeah, that was embarrassing. Well, it would be embarrassing. I don't tend to get embarrassed, but the Cav equivalent of being embarrassed. Are you going to watch the awful films to prepare? The acting is way scarier than anything in the games. Actually, I did. When I was in Denmark earlier this year, my friend went over to like his friend's place, and I went along with him, and they were watching like a marathon of the Resident Evil movies. So I watched like little parts of them. Oh, they were rough. So maybe I'll be all right after all. It takes a lot for me to really follow and watch the people who I follow a raid to. I think there's like only one streamer I still watch after finding them through a raid. Yeah, I can see that in the Cav stream without Neek. Oftentimes I will have the same reaction. Until recently, I'm really kind of desperate for people to raid in my ridiculous time zone, so I'm just sort of following everyone willy-nilly. But yeah, I think it can sometimes take a few raids before you'd sort of feel like you know the person well enough and like their style enough to follow them. But I think it still makes a difference. And there are other people who are kind of like immediately sort of like, yes, this is a fun streamer to follow, and they do it. So I think the more people that you raid, and even if you raid them consistently, then your audience slowly starts to get to know them too, and it becomes, I don't know, I think it works out. For me, it's usually because I've already planned to do something when a stream ends, so that doesn't change if there is a raid. Yeah, that's what happens with me too. Like, I find it difficult to stay behind too much, especially after I've just finished streaming, because, again, what we were talking about with social energy, I'm normally a little bit drained after a stream, and I know me and Sean as well often needs to take like half an hour or something after he's finished a stream just to sort of, recuperate. It seems like it's quite a common thing. So like being active in a chat afterwards can be a little bit difficult. But if the person has an average low viewer rate, sometimes I'll just like mute the stream and just keep it on, Wait, what? They basically turned it into a massive "how do I keep my wife employed" project, and now he's doing it again, directing his wife in a Monster Hunter movie. Why video games though? You've done that a couple of times as well. Yeah, I think it's almost etiquette in a way. You don't necessarily need to stick around and watch the stream, but I think especially for people who tend to have a lower audience, it can be a nice, it gives a nice boost to their confidence, and it makes their experience a lot more pleasant, I think. So it's generally, I would say it's good etiquette. Sometimes you don't have enough, you've already got too many tabs open and you can't do it. I don't really begrudge anyone for sort of having to leave. But this is just a personal choice of mine. And sometimes I don't do that either because I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm turning off my computer now. Yeah. So I guess I never would have reached affiliate without kind people streaming. I'd say so too for me. Like I streamed a little bit in 2017 from Taiwan, and looking back at those VODs, I had no idea what I was doing. Like the sound quality was bad, the webcam quality was bad, the internet connection was awful, so it skips like 70% of the frames. But there were a lot of really kind people who knew me from Twitter who would like, spread around when I was streaming and got me to the point where I could become an affiliate. And then, of course, being friends with Sean and H-Bomb kind of helped. So I'm not going to pretend that didn't have something to do with the fact that I don't know how many people are watching now because it still says 0 viewers on my phone. But like, I get a decent turnout now and it's great. But I don't really attribute that to me being a fantastic streamer. Like maybe I am a fantastic streamer. Probably. But like it hasn't really got that much to do with that in terms of whether people find your streams. It's about eyes. It's about getting eyes on your content, and without other people there to help with that, there are so many streamers out there to choose from. Oh, Cav Dev from Dead Viney, there you go. Yeah, that's another thing. Like I think a lot of people find it difficult to get to that point, and I'm currently having that issue with YouTube because I think the algorithm for YouTube is a lot worse. So there have been times when I've been interested in an independent artist and I've put autoplay on in the hope that it will just keep playing more songs by the same person, but it will consistently take me to bigger names because I guess they paid more or more people watch their videos. It's very, very difficult, like even more so than Twitch, to get eyes on your content, no matter how good you are. And I think I'm pretty good. Which is again why I think if you do become a streamer, making use of raids can help establish those connections. So you have people raiding you, and you raid other people. I think it's a combination of your friends bringing in people and you being a fun person to watch, so people stick around. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the affiliation always helps. Like, I noticed that every time, for whatever reason, if, one of those two or whatever, or if I'm tagged in a tweet with someone, like, I think I made a tweet where I had a photo with, like, when I met up with, I had lunch with Philosophy Tube and Sean one time, and I posted a photo making fun of them, and then I got a whole bunch of followers just based on that. It wasn't a funny joke, it was just because people were like, oh, proximity, and I mean, like, you can't be like, oh, I wish these people wouldn't do that, because it's nice to get more people looking at your stuff, but at the same time it's just like, really? Is that who we are? Like, people really want to get closer to people who are close to people. And it's not fair that that's the way that people are interested in stuff. There are so many other people who are good, and I find, especially again going like people of color content creators, they get completely overlooked by the algorithm. It's ridiculous. And for the most part, people don't really seem to be that interested in their content, whether it is good or not, which I find really disappointing due to our own internalized prejudices. I think, people of color like me also are guilty of that, of like favoring like white creators in terms of talking about social issues and things like that over people of color. It's something that you really need to conscientiously acknowledge and work against in order to at least get to a semblance of trying to make things a little bit more of an even field. The proximity feels like it's saying something about your character, like you've been endorsed by those two, so you must be a good person. That's right, yeah. I mean, like the people who followed me I'm assuming didn't read any of my tweets. You know, they don't know that then. I guess that's why I always tend to have people sort of like what happens is I get a little boost when a tweet of mine goes viral, and then it's like a slow trickle down because they realize I make jokes about white people a lot. So it's, so I was like, oh yeah, Kavner's Sean or Kavner's philosophy cheer, woo, and it's like, oh, Cav is mean. Cav said the H word. Well, yeah, decolonizing our minds, I think, I mean, in its original context, it's more specifically towards like people of color in our internalized sort of prejudices based on what we've been taught about, you know, people of color and whatever. But I feel like it also has broader connotations of everyone who has been raised in a colonial system has to a degree got a colonial mindset to unlearn. And it's much harder for people who are colonizers to do, but I think it's important for everyone to do. You think you followed me because of the white people jokes? I used the hard Y. Do you translate books? I've translated sections of books before. It's very difficult to break into literary translation, but I'm currently trying to write to, hold on a second, I'll be back in a sec. I'll grab the thing that I'm trying to translate. Before I start that, yeah, there's similar problems with stuff like TikTok. Original POC creators having their ideas go viral through a white person. Oh yeah, and I think, especially with Black TikTok creators, like I saw there was one thing in particular where it was this white girl who, a teenage white girl who did this sort of dance or something, and it turns out it was originally by two Black teens, and like she just got all the recognition for it and all that, and it's really disgusting. Like, I mean, people like white people have been stealing, you know, Black people's art and culture for like many years now. Even like genres that we now consider to be white genres, like country music and things like that. And it's like, how is this still continuing into the TikTok era? Right? Like, they're just like 15-second videos. Why are we stealing those two? Surely you've developed your own culture by now. Ugh. Oh, Imani Gandhi is fantastic. I think I followed you here on Twitch because you laughed at a silly thing you did in Donkey Kong for like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is quality content. Yeah, that sounds about right. I have a lot of fun. So this is a book that I'm actually going to be trying to translate. I found the contact of this person, and I believe they're the copyright holder. It's a book called Cat Art, and I think I showed it during my study tour, where they're like, he's just redrawn cats, like the famous paintings throughout history, but with cats, all the different art styles and things. It's so fantastic. Look at that. I mean, the art is very good in itself and funny, but like the names, like the reason why I want to translate it is because the names of the artwork itself, as well as the artists, have also been given like little cat puns. And so where was that? What's this one? No? Let me find that screaming. Oh, I know, Vincent van Gogh. They called him Vincent van Gogh, or Njaf. Because nya means is like a cat noise in Japanese. So like they've put a bunch of cat puns in everywhere, and they've also, the introduction is like a big thing about how cats are actually more highly evolved than humans, and like here they've got like evolution. So things obviously they started out like with 2 legs, cars, and then they became smaller and more compact and on 4 legs, and then you've got the cat at the end there to show you the end of evolution. It's so funny. like the writing in it as well. So I feel like even I know they've released like a version of it with just the names of the paintings translated into English, and I feel like that's not good enough. I feel like it's a huge waste. It's so funny. um, yeah, all cats are nyan cats basically. But anyway, so hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on translation rights for that book before anyone else. But we'll see, I guess. I'm too scared to finish writing the email because it's social and it's someone I don't know. You know how social anxiety works. Like, yes, I have this great idea. Oh, that means I need to talk to them. I'm going to be writing it in Japanese too, and my Japanese has to be perfect because, like they're not going to trust someone who makes a grammatical error. Even if I'm going to be translating it into English, it's not a good look if you're a translator and you have mistakes in your email to the person. So, is it available at Kino? I'm not sure. What's Kino? Translating jokes and puns and stuff seems very difficult. Yeah, it is, but I love it. I kind of thrive off of it. My PhD, like I was going to do a PhD in the translation of jokes, so about the localization of the Ace Attorney games. I find translating humor incredibly interesting, and I also really enjoyed making puns in other languages. I helped write a musical with some friends in like an old obscure dialect of Japanese called Tosaben. And I had so many puns in there. I was so proud of myself. I even stole one from a 10-year-old kid. I mean, look at me, also stealing from people of color. Stole it from a 10-year-old Japanese kid. And it always got such a laugh. No, I didn't give credit to the kid. The funny thing was that we performed that musical in the town which had the child who I stole it from, and I don't think he came to see the play. So if he came to see the play, he would have seen that joke. And I'm sure he would have had something to say to me about it. Kinokuniya, yeah. Possibly. I bought it at an art museum in Japan, and I think maybe you can get it online, maybe from Amazon. Allegedly, they have versions in a few different languages, but I think that's also just the titles of the art and not the actual text. Their joke, not your joke. No, mine. I stole it. It's mine now. That's how colonization works. So it works for me. I don't know if you're interested to know what that joke was, but it's pretty bad. I feel like I've probably mentioned it on a stream before. Like, I've explained the joke before, and I think I can explain it to non-Japanese speaking audiences in a way that it works. Okay. Well, given that you've asked. So, when I was living in Kochi Prefecture in Japan, which is where Chitan comes from. If you know Chitan, the little otter mascot, she is the mascot of the city where I used to do taiko lessons in. Yeah, this is no longer a cooking stream, is it? Oh well. What camp sounds like right now? Bourgeois goose. Yeah, it's an otter apparently. And they don't actually have otters there. They were all fished to death, but like the city keeps insisting that they do actually still have otters there, and so they have a mascot. Let's move from cooking case to cooking up hot takes. Anyway, so back to this great joke. So I was working in Kochi Prefecture in international relations, and part of my work in international relations involved going to schools and retirement homes to talk about, I guess, Australian and, in my case, Fiji Indian culture. Didn't Cheetan get fired? What the fuck? Oh gosh. And yeah, talking about Australian and Fiji Indian culture, and also doing, the usual Japanese teaching, but I used to talk in Japanese the whole time because it's like, that's not why you employed me. But yeah, one time the kids were, primary school kids, I think they were grade 6 kids, they were going around doing an activity where they had to ask about people's interests in English. So it's like they'd have a little survey and they would ask, what do you like? And then they would respond, I like soccer, or I like baseball. And it was quite cute. Actually, no, I tell a lie. Their accents were a little bit better. In primary school, they put more emphasis on the pronunciation. It's really middle school where it sort of goes backwards. It's a huge shame, like that. No, this is turning into another story about the Japanese education system with regards to English. Anyway, so they were going around doing this survey to ask about people's interests, and then at the end of these classes, it was part of a government project to get English classes taught from grade 5 and 6 onwards with an emphasis on speaking, which I thought was great. And so in primary school, at the end of the class, they had to write a little thing, like an evaluation about what they learned about communication or about English or about Australia or whatever. Which again is really good because it's something that from middle school onwards, it kind of gets quashed. These kids are being encouraged to express themselves, give their personal opinion, and have that validated by their peers and their teacher. Like, it was a really interesting system. It's just such a shame that it ends at grade 6. But anyway, we were going around and asking the kids what their opinions were or what they learned from this activity. And one person said a Japanese idiom, which is junin toiro, which means, so junin, 10 people, toiro, to is another word for 10, and iro is color. So 10 people, 10 colors, which is kind of like it takes all types to make a world. Junin toiro. And which I thought was a pretty astute, idiom. But then this the cheeky kid in the class was like, Junin toire, which is like 10-person toilet, and everyone burst out laughing. And I was like, I could do something with this. And I did. I stole the 10-person toilet joke and put it in a musical. Oh, and he never knew. Isn't that funny? The Junin Toiro. Oh, goodness. Proud that you understood 2 words from that. People and color. Nice! 10-person toilet is absolutely the jerk Kev stole from a kid. I believe this story 100%. Yeah, I had a lot of fun in that musical. That was great. That was the year I got to be a pirate. And once you're a pirate, you never retire it. That's what I always say. Anyway, I feel like this stream. I'm gonna be streaming my subscriber my sub goal Desktop Goose stream tonight from like 7:30. So I should probably take a break. You were hoping it was gonna be Junin Toire, and I was not disappointed. Nice. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break. Thank you so much for joining me with this lovely cake making journey. I had a lot of fun making the cake, and then how long have we been here for? What does it say? 2 hours and 13 minutes. Oh my god, it's gonna be a double pillar today, it seems. Yeah, thanks for the conversation afterwards. It's been really, really nice to just have a little casual, down to earth chat about life and streaming and occasionally cakes and horrible puns about toilets. I'll see you in about, wait, what's the time? Okay, in about 3 hours, I'll be back streaming Arkham Knight. Maybe we'll even try to beat the Scarecrow with Desktop Goose up, which should be fun. Yeah, thanks again, and I'll post up a picture of the cake when it's ready and we've sliced it. So probably tomorrow after it's gone all nice and soft. Good stream, good toilet. And I'll see you then. Okay. Ciao, ciao.